Good morning, everyone. This is Marla Copal, the Vitality Mentor, and it is April 9th, 2020. And I personally am in day 31 of sheltering in place. And, it's an interesting adventure. That's all I'll say. But I'm still doing business. I have a home-based business. I laid low for about 25 days just till everybody could settle in and see what they wanted to do and to understand. But I'm pulling up some old resources that I have, some old skills that I've used for over 45 years in business, and some of them I owned by myself, and some of them I worked with others, and I have been a corporate employee. And I've worked for solopreneurs. So I have quite a background in resiliency. And I think the easiest place always to demonstrate resiliency for me was when I ran a property management business. I was in that industry for 20 years. And you just meet a lot of hotheads. You meet a lot of people who are just kind of lost, and in a lot of ways, either how to manage their investment, how to manage their rent, how to manage their maintenance. And I just did it all. I had a system in place and I helped people do that. But what occurs for people now at this time? Yesterday, when I was talking about resiliency, I was talking about how do you get into neutral when people are overreacting or underreacting, or they're not behaving with the expectations you have for them. Well, people just show up, and they show up in their own unique way. And our tolerance levels are not easy to come by. They are an acquired skill. So when I talked yesterday about neutral, and if anybody wants to listen to that, it's on my YouTube channel, The Vitality Mentor. Go back and listen. I try to keep everything under 12 minutes, so hopefully it's not taking up too much of your time. But when I ended yesterday, I said I would talk about the concept called saving face. And as I see posts on Facebook, and as I see people posting things, I really wonder, are they saving face for themselves? And are they being goaded into an emotional reaction that possibly they should sit there and make a choice about? And so so let's go back. Saving face is a resiliency strategy. And what do I mean about that? Well, when you can help people avoid humiliation, avoid embarrassment, and preserve their reputation, you are helping people save face. So there are many, many times where people lose it emotionally, but we can either exacerbate that problem for them, or we can give them an opportunity to save face. Now, most of us expect an apology in order for us to go back and help that other person save face. And that is the fastest way to do that, is to come in and not say, I'm sorry, but say, I apologize for my behavior, da, 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 da. Now, you still could have your emotion. I'm not going to tell you to take out your emotion, but you want to identify the behavior that did not play well with your emotion. So you can have an emotion, but you can still choose the behavior. And so to save face is something that people in this American culture of ours are not always familiar with. And I will call you out, women, you are one of them, especially when it comes to working with men. And so, and I would love it if you take me on with this, because this is where negotiations comes in, and this is a skill. So saving face is a negotiation skill. And so when people are emotionally invested, they have the most to lose behaviorally. When we help people save face, we're at least saying, I want to maintain a relationship with you until you calm down. And then sometimes we save face because it's going to enhance our lives. So let's go back to some of those deals, agreements, verbal or written, that you've made with people. When you originally made that agreement with them, You came in with some expectations. So before you help someone lose face because you don't like their behavior, you go back and you review your original agreement and say, what was the relationship I wanted out of this? Not necessarily with that person. Do I want them to be my friend? Do I want to take them home to have lunch with my family? Not necessarily. But I want their connections. I want the people that the connections might introduce me to. I want to learn more professional skills. I want to discover how other people are being successful. All right. So if this person can connect me to those people, maybe now's not the time to help this person lose face, even though their behavior right now is like on the wall. So if you don't have to have a direct interaction with them right now in this time of the virus when everybody, not everybody, but many are still demonstrating some desperate behaviors, maybe you back up and just say, well, do I need to connect with them right now? No, I can put them on the shelf because I'm at risk of blowing this relationship up. And that I don't know if this relationship will have value for me later or not. But when the world comes back to a form of norm, I'll call it, because there will be no normal as we knew it. There will only be the normal we create. But so many people right now can save face by just not interacting with those people who are pushing their buttons. And the other way to save face is to not call people out on the behaviors that are not good. Some of us just may disappear in relationship with people anymore. We may find that this time is a great opportunity to cut off toxic relationships. There may be a lot of things, but we don't necessarily have to call people out on it. So remember, to help people save face, you help them avoid humiliation. So you may want to blow up at them when there's 10 people around. That is a side conversation with that one person. Nobody else needs to know your business. And this is what Facebook and some of these other things have done for us. If they've let us put everything out. It's like, nope, there is still that thing called the laundry room, and you do have dirty laundry, and I'm sure you do not invite your guests to look at your dirty laundry. So maybe saving face is just your opportunity to keep your dirty laundry in the closet and then figure out when does it need to be cleaned. And that is a one-to-one conversation. Now, here's how people set themselves up sometimes to lose face, and they do it on their own. You didn't help it at all. So let me see if I can make this example simple because I'm going to run out of time here. When I was at Outward Bound as an instructor, before I was an instructor, I went through the 30-day program as a student so that I would be aware of what it took to survive on the ocean, to survive in a pulling boat, to survive with 13 other young women aged 16 to 22 in the same boat, you know, either bitching or being friendly on a daily basis to row or sail this boat to some destinations, you know, without instructors on board. And at the end of that course, we had a 5-day voyage where we had to make it 40 miles, and that's a lot on the ocean in these boats, and then back home in these 5 days. So we had to plan not only with our people on our boat, we had to plan with 2 other boats. And in one situation, one boat was adults who had been in prison. Some of them in solitary for 25 years. They were out of Harlem, New York. And the purpose of this program was to have them be able to go back and educate street kids on ways to survive that were healthy, not destructive. And I'll just keep it that simple. But you know, these are people that have been in prison and they're in culture shock because here they have to dive into the ocean every morning, either 8 degrees or 15 degrees. So what did we do? We got up at 5 a.m., we ran around the island, and then we jumped into the ocean off the dock. These people didn't know how to swim. How's that for culture shock? So that's just a piece of the story I'm going to tell you. So they're in an exaggerated, stressed out environment. And those of us who were immature, and I was one of those at that time, did not know how to do anything other than to say, they need to get their act together. Well, you know what? They were in the most foreign territory. That would be like putting them in the middle of Baghdad without a gun. So, you know what? I finally had empathy for them. But at the end of this 5-day trek that we all did, we get to our destination, and they decide to do a sit-in, so to speak, in a boat in the middle of the ocean, and none of them know how to swim, and they're not going to go anywhere. They're demanding to be towed back 2.5 days to the island, to our home base. And we're sitting out there, the other two of us, ages 16 to 22, going, well, they're adults. And then we realize that adults, chronological age does not an adult make. What we finally started realizing as we sit there through this 4-hour negotiation with them, totally unaware of the environment that they're in, that without them getting their boat moving, they're not going to go anywhere. They're going to starve, drown, or whatever. They can't just sit there anchored up and choosing to go nowhere. Now, the instructors are out in a boat over here watching us, right? But they want us to talk to them. They want us to negotiate, and they want us to get into a situation where we all learn what it is to pull together. Well, we don't have the skills to talk to them because we have no understanding of the fear level that they're in. That they're in such fear that they are willing to sit in the middle of the ocean, anchored in a boat that gives them no protection. This is an open tub of a wooden boat. And so here was an opportunity that we really didn't know how to support, and they needed to save face, but it wasn't available to us as a skill. It wasn't something that the instructors were even familiar with. Finally, we just waited them out where they gave up and they came along. And what we learned a little bit later was you can't be right in that situation. You have to just understand the fear that's going on. So part of saving face is to recognize the fear, not get into overreaction, and to not create a visceral enemy. A visceral enemy is one who does not and never will forgive. And there are just some people who can forgive very easily. I'm one of those. And then, even though I might get upset, I can forgive and I can forget, because if I want your working relationship, I will still negotiate what our next steps are so that we don't have that occur again. So that's another opportunity for saving face. But there are some people that don't have the skill to negotiate how it should look again, how you can recreate an agreement. So resiliency is helping people save face. You really have to know if you want to recreate an agreement. And what you do is maybe you just put some time out on all relationships until this is over. And you can see, where do I want to go from here? So this is Marla Kopal, the Vitality Mentor, talking to you about the resiliency skill of saving face and more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Vitality Mentor. I've been posting these resiliency talks out there for over 25 days now. So I hope you go back to my library and enjoy some and share them. And then if you need to get in touch, text Marla to 646-00, and we can stay in touch very easily. Talk to you soon, tomorrow, 8:30 Mountain Time. And now I'm off for a bike ride because it's going to rain today, so I'm going to get it in soon. Bye-bye.